Welcome to the CSCE Capstone class. This is the senior year project class for the computer science and engineering students. So congratulations, you made it. As you know, this is a 2-semester class. What we're going to do is we're going to break up into teams of 4 or 5 students, and each team is going to build an app over 2 semesters. So this semester is 490, next semester is 492. So what I want to do in this video is first I want to go over what you need to know for the first week of classes, things you need to be doing right now, and then I'm going to give you an overview of what the class is all about this semester. So the first thing you need to know, you already know, is that everything is at this website, capstone.cse.sc.edu. Everything that you need to do is posted already here. So as you can see, we have forms and milestones. These are your homeworks. These are the things that you need to turn in. They're already posted for this semester with their due dates, and it's already set. So you could go, add them to your calendar. And you should go and read them all, and we'll go over them a little bit in a second. So that's the website. Then you should watch this video. You're doing that now. Good. Then you also need to do today, fill out the GitHub username form. So if you click over there, this is under forms here too. GitHub username, fill out the form. So you click there, and then you enter your USC credentials, and you can tell me your GitHub username that way. I need to know your GitHub username because I'm gonna add everybody to our GitHub org or organization. Once I do that, then you'll be able to click over here and see this. So if you do it right now, it'll just be a 404. But once I add you to the org, you can see our discussion. So this is the discussions page for this class, where I'm going to post things. And we have already a category, is what they call it. It's like, a group or something. Where you can post if you're looking for teammates and stuff. So you can see that. It's a team formation here. Post here if you're looking for a team member. And you can be part of the discussion there. So a bit more on that later. So that's the discussion. Oh yes, and do remember to go over here and watch it, right? So you make sure you want to be watching this repo, so that way you get notified whenever there's a new posting there, because you're responsible for keeping up to date with that discussion, just in case there's something important that I post. So that's our discussions page. You're responsible for watching it, like I said. Then you want to read and follow the team information section of the 490 syllabus. So let's go check that out. You click there. The way we're going to form teams is basically you get to decide if you want, right? So you have until you can check on the deadlines here. The deadline for team creation is in September 3rd, Sunday. So you have until then to submit the form, the team creation form. So you can click there, and this is not there yet, but it will be available once classes start. A form where you can tell me, I want these people to be my team. The main thing is they have to be either 4 or 5 students in your team, from the class, obviously. And that's it, no more, no less, either 4 or 5. If you can't find 4, or if you decide, I'm not going to bother with any of that, just assign me somebody. That's what's going to happen. So I'm going to wait until that deadline of September 3rd, and everybody who by then has submitted a team will have their team, and everybody that's left, I'm just going to randomly assign them to teams, form teams, and those will be posted in our discussion. So you'll see them. Well, all the teams will be posted there as I get them. So that's how we form teams. Pretty straightforward. Just either if you have the people, you form one by submitting the form, or you just do nothing and I will assign you to a team. Pretty easy. So back home. So that's the team formation, and then read the rest of the syllabus. And then, as I say here, the deadlines pages here on the home has all the deadlines. I just put them all on one page so you can see when everything is due this semester. So let me first go over the syllabus, and then I'll go over a little bit over the milestones. So here's the syllabus for this class, the name and stuff, learning outcome stuff that you should read. That's my name. I'm Jose Vidal. So how do you contact me? The way we're going to do most of our communications is through GitHub, right? So we kind of abuse GitHub issues. So basically, once you have a repo, if you want to contact me, you just create a GitHub issue and assign it to me. You can also assign it to the TAs with instructors, or their name, which you'll find out once we get them, and I will respond, right? So this is the most preferred way of doing, certainly anything technical, any questions you have on your project and stuff. This is going to be in your repo, and so it's only visible to your other people who can see the repo, which by default is just your team members and me and the TAs. So it's kind of private in that way, but you do want your teammates to know all this stuff. Even if you don't think they are necessarily interested, they should still know about all the technical questions and the answers. So it's just easier that way. So do that. But especially, until you have a repo, of course you can't do that. So until then, you can email me. So vidal@sc.edu, just send me an email. I'll be available quickly. Or if there's something private that you just don't want your teammates to know, you don't want anybody else to know, email me. We do video conferencing using the university's Teams, Microsoft Teams thing. So just click there, log in with your university credentials, and then we can start a chat. So typically you would create an issue saying, oh, can we do a Teams meeting? And we set up a time, and then we use the video conferencing. I also have office hours, so you're going to click there. They're not supposed to. You click here, and they're not posted yet. So I think it's all blank. But there will be office hours there posted. So that's time where I'm in the office at Story, in my office, where you can just drop by, or you can reserve a time. So that's the preferred method. You'll see here, you can click on it and reserve a time, and then I'll know that you're coming by at that time, and you'll know that nobody else is going to be there, more importantly, because other people could drop by, right? So you want to reserve the time. So that's my office hours. Okay, TAs, we still don't know, but we'll know soon. There is no textbook for this class. There is no meeting or lecture times. But we definitely have, like I said, we can set up a time anytime if you want to meet virtually or in my office through those office hours. Drop by. We communicate via GitHub. Like I said, we use GitHub for everything. This is our org, SC Capstone. You can mention me or add instructors. That gets to me and the TAs. So you're expected to keep up to date with that discussion, like I said, and then I have my office hours. I said all this already. Capstone lab, we have a whole room. This is the room in the Capstone lab. The machines have just been refreshed this summer, so it should be a little bit speedy. So check it out. This is only open to Capstone students so far, as I understand it. And so you need your USC ID, but it's open 24/7. You can come in, beep, and check in. And after the new refresh, we have 13 Mac Minis, 8 Windows, and 8 Ubuntu machines. And the PCs, the 16 PCs, like the Linux machines, I think they can be dual booted to Windows or vice versa. So that's flexible. But yeah, we got a lot more a lot more Macs because there was more demand. More people have Windows, so if they need to develop on a Mac, you need a Mac if you want to build an iOS app using Swift. So that's why we got them. So it's also a good place to meet, right? So if team just wants to meet, there's some extra spaces where you can just sit there and meet and talk and discuss things in the air conditioning. So team formation, I went over all this already. Grading. So this is the grading percentages. Basically, each milestone will have a percentage of the final grade until the end. One thing to note about these is like, let's see, form teams is a grading of teams. So that means the team is going to get a grade. Everybody gets the same grade, for that particular milestone. But like the weekly report, that's individual. So each person is going to get a separate, different, possibly different grade. So that's what those things mean. Most of them are team grades. Now the thing I want to go over here is the personal contribution. You see this is up to 100%. So what does that mean? That means, it's everything I explained this over here per 100%. And basically what it means is at the end of the semester, and only then, I'm going to give everybody in the team a grade of either satisfactory, poor, or unacceptable. So basically almost everybody gets satisfactory. So that means good. You're just going to get the grade as determined by the percentages, by the formula. But you might get poor or unacceptable. And so if you get unacceptable, basically you failed the class. That means you did not contribute, enough to the team. And poor means you did not contribute. You contribute less than you should have, and so your grade might get moved down. So how do I determine those? That grade, I'm going to look at your peer evaluation. So this is going to be an actual something you have to do. So at the end of the semester, there's a form. There'll be a form up here, when you click on forms, peer reviews. It's not there yet, but it will be a form there, and you fill it up for each one of your other team members, and you just basically tell me, this is a private form, you tell me what everybody else and you did that semester. So that's a peer evaluation. You evaluate everybody, giving everybody numbers. So I'm going to look at those. I'm going to look at the weekly reports. We'll go over those. So basically every week you have to tell me what you did that week. Your Git log, of course. Look at your actual Git commits. And then just, anything else that, the chats or the GitHub issues, meetings that we might have, etc. So I look at all those things to determine your grade of satisfactory, poor, and unacceptable. Then I could either, scale your grade down, or in these rare cases where you're maybe the only person that worked in your team or only 2 people worked, move it up. So that's very rare, very, very, very rare. So like I said, I do expect all team members to make significant contributions to the team, and just know that this is going to happen. This happens every semester, and people's grades are going to get adjusted because they did not contribute. So you must write code. Another thing that I want to point out is, should be obvious, right? It's a software engineering class, but one of the things that happens is that the apps that you're building are not just code, right? You have to write HTML and CSS, and if you're making a game, you need art, and you need graphics, and maybe sound, or maybe you need some IT work, set up a database, deploy things. And all these things are super important, and you have to do them, and you will get credit for these things, but you can't just do those things. You have to also write code. If you only do HTML, you're not going to pass the class. If you only do animations or sounds, you're not going to pass, right? You get some credit for doing that, but you must also write make significant code contributions. So this is very important. Keep that in mind when doing, splitting the work among people, right? So everybody must code. Everything is in GitHub, right? So as I probably said that many times already, everything we do is in GitHub. If it's not in GitHub, it doesn't count, right? So if you didn't put it into your repo, the repo that we're using, not some other repo in GitHub, but our repo, the one we're using, it doesn't count. Firing a team member. So we do have this method, this little thing. So if you have somebody in your team who has been doing nothing, and they're going to fail, right? Because at the end they're going to get an unacceptable. But you want to give them one last chance, say, hey, we know that you're not doing anything. We can see it. You can start this process of firing them. So basically, we're going to give them a one last chance in the middle of the semester. We say like, okay, here's one thing. We need you to do this in 2 weeks. So this is the process, read it. But, I'm going to give the student the formal warning and tell them to get these things done by a deadline, usually 2 weeks. And if they don't do it, then that's it. So it's just a way of moving forward the deadline a little bit. And yeah, like, it works. Like, so when you do this, people wake up. And many times they'll wake up and be like, oh, okay, I see. I need to do actually some work here. So, and then they'll start working. Academic integrity, some pretty standard stuff about cheating safe, but I do want to point out again that in this class, using someone else's GitHub account is the same as taking a test for them, right? So your GitHub account is yours. This is how I can tell that, it's your stuff. If you're using somebody else's account, that is the same as taking a test for them. Don't, right? So do not use somebody else's account. Don't commit code for somebody else. I mean that's the same thing, right? So don't use somebody else's account. Here's a little tip. So people forget that your laptop has multiple users. One of the things that happens sometimes here is that a student will lend their laptop to somebody else in the team and they'll do some work and commit it. But of course they're using the first person's laptop, so they're committing under their name. So don't do that. So if you borrow somebody else's laptop, make sure you log in with your own account. So, or more significantly, if you're lending your laptop, make sure you create a new account and then give that guest account to them. Also, this means that they can't see your stuff in your laptop. So that's something you might want to do anyway, right? You don't want people snooping around your pictures and stuff. Remember to do that. You create a new account and then you can set up the GitHub user for them. Or they can set it up themselves. There's no late work accepted here. The deadlines are already posted for the semester, so you should start making plans around those. That's when they're going to be due. You can, of course, turn things early, and that's what I highly recommend, especially for deliverables, code stuff. You can start committing and pushing stuff all the time, and then just making it better. So if you do it a week early, put something up there, we're going to grade that, unless, of course, you put something else before that. That's even better. We'll grade, whatever is latest, right, up until the deadline. So yeah, just start pushing, releases or updating your wiki pages as early as you can, and keep doing it until the deadline. And then some technology, the rest is stuff that you should read if it's important to you. And then here's a copy of also the deadlines for this semester, which are also just here under deadlines here. Okay, so that was the syllabus. Speaking of deadlines, I just want to go over what's due for this semester. So I see the first day of classes, just submit your GitHub username. And then the first week, once you do that, you can go here to the discussion and start discussing, posting about, you can go here to team formation, and then there should be posts for different students, either if you're looking for somebody or you're looking for a team, or you want to work in Android or Django, or I want to do an iOS app. So you can post those things and try to find people in the class that you can want to form a team with. So you have all that first week to do that. So usually there'll be a lot of posts here going back and forth, people posting their ideas. So do that until the deadline, and then, so that's the 10th. No, wait. The third Sunday is when you have to submit that. So Monday, Monday or Tuesday, I'll form the teams, for the rest of the people who didn't submit the form, and for everybody. So, sometimes around the 4th, 5th, by then everybody should have a repo, and we can get going. And then we start with the milestones. So these are the various milestones that are due. So the first one is form teams on the Sunday. This is basically just have your first meeting as a team, and then answer a few questions about, what do you want to do and how you're going to communicate and, what software you want to do, etc. So notice that all the milestones will have obviously a due date. That's when they're due on that day. And then the grading, either team or individual. And then down here, there'll be also deliverables. So these are the things that you have to deliver to me. So make sure you read these carefully and do the things that we ask you to do. So it says add a wiki page, add a short page to your wiki, etc. So do those, as I say, title it, project description. Just make sure you do those correctly. And then we have a grading rubric. That's what the TAs and I use for grading. So that's the first thing that you do. Just kind of have a first meeting. This is an ongoing thing, the weekly report. So this is going to be due every Sunday, but you can do it before. And the idea is that you do it every week. So every week, you're going to post something, weekly report, year, month, day. So weekly report like that, that'll be for 2022. These are the ones for this year. So the first one will be weekly report, 2023-910. That's the issue title. As such, and I'm gonna give it a label question just so we can stay organized. And then on that issue, everybody is gonna write a comment about what they did that week. So this whole page talks about that. So do that every week. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then because it's all in GitHub, you can reference other issues, pull requests, commits, everything. So make it easy. You don't have to type a lot. So the main thing is, just make sure that, please try to use exactly this, because, I have to search for these on GitHub. And if you mess up, if you put 9 instead of 09, the search doesn't work. So please, I'll fix it, but it's better if I don't have to fix them all as I find them. So that's it. So that's the weekly report. Everybody has to do this individually. That's what you did, not what the team did. I don't care about that. In the weekly report is what you did. The personas and users stories milestone is due September 13. That's with the team grading. Also note that yes, there's also a lecture section with this one. And if you go back with this one, it says you must watch these before doing this milestone. So these are lectures. Well, that's this one, but there's a teamwork lecture that you must watch, etc. So some of these milestones will have a lecture section that says watch these before doing it, so do that. Where was I? I was in Persona. So Personas again has a lecture that you should watch before doing it. So watch that, then do it. I'm not gonna go over this here, but that's in the lecture. But do that. And then this is design milestone and requirements milestone and the research milestone. I'll note that the research milestone is, as you can see, is an individual milestone. So, just stepping back, this is due October 15th. And if you look at the milestone, form teams, you have design, requirements, research, architecture, social control, Ethan, legal, and security stuff due November 9th. This is October 29th. So this sort of first half, or 2/3, basically everything except the last month, is like design work, requirements, other stuff. So non-programming work. However, except for the research milestone. So for the first half of the class, you're going to be doing all these things as a team, right? You're going to be doing design and requirements as a team. But also, hopefully, in the first meeting or very early on, your team decides, okay, we're going to build an Android app, or we're going to build a Django app or an iOS app using Swift, or whatever. So you pick your framework, which more than likely you don't know and nobody really knows. So what you all also need to be doing individually is learning that framework. So during the first month and a half of classes, while you're doing this as a team, individually, you're also going through the Hello World tutorials of, say Android, learning how to build an Android app, watching the videos. This is how you do it, downloading Android Studio, getting familiar with it, just learning how to build an Android app for the research milestone. So the research milestone in October 15th is not something you're going to be able to do in 1 week, really. If you really meant to do it, it should be from the beginning, learning Django or learning whatever it is so that you can build this little app. Just to show that you know enough to, get started and actually, build something. You don't have to build anything complicated at this point, obviously, just something a little more than Hello World. So that's this app here. The deliverables for the research milestone note that this is one milestone where you're not using your personal, your class repo or your personal repos. You must create this personal repo by following this link. So you need to click here, and this doesn't do anything right now. But once I set it up, this will lead you back to GitHub, and it'll create a new repo under our SC Capstone org. The repo is going to be called research milestone dash your username, whatever that is, and that's where you're going to put your work, right? So note this, read the deliverables, and note that this is true. Don't mess this up. Don't put it in your personal repo at GitHub in your personal user account. We want it here in our org. And then it tells you all the other stuff that you need to do for this. So yeah, again, the main thing is while you're doing all this other stuff with your team, that's design work, that's writing, you're also learning by yourself, or even as a team you can learn if you want how to use your framework so that you can do this, because this research milestone it's not something you're going to be able to do in 1 week, even though all the deadlines are 1 week. So you need to get started early to doing that one. Then we have architecture milestone. You can read about that, and source control milestone. This is due October 29th, and this is at this point where you start working together in a code base in your repo. So that's the goal of this milestone, is that you put your code, your share code, which is going to be an app. Again, it doesn't have to do anything much at this point, but everybody has committed and pushed, and you're all working together in the repo in GitHub together. And then from then on, that's what you're going to be doing. So you have October 29th, and then November and December, you'll be just programming. So from then on, there's one more other milestone, but then the proof of concept is the actual app that you're going to deliver this semester, which is the last day of classes, December 8th, this semester. So, and this tells you, what the app should do. Again, it has to do something, but obviously not everything. So read about that, read about the deliverables, stuff. You also have to do a demo, so a little video demo of the app. This is a good preparation for the final demo, which is going to be a little bit longer, but this is just a short video demonstrating what your app does, and that's it for this semester. So those are all the milestones for this semester. You can click over here. These are all the lectures for this semester and maybe for the whole class. Some of these two down here are not part of any milestone. So just check them out if you're interested, if you think you can learn something from them. And then finally, the student videos. Here is where you can see all the student videos from previous years, starting with this spring, sorry. So this is a good place if you want to get some ideas about possible apps you could bid, so you can see what people did in previous years. So that's it.